welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams, and it is very nice to see you all again. It has been a while because I've been at Newcastle and stuff with the Twitter, but it's been a while, but it's good to be back. Newcastle is very nice, in case any of you wondered, if you've not been. It is a lovely place, it's just very hilly, and with this British heat, it's a lot of work. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice place. I recommend it if you want to get away somewhere in the UK for a city break. Did a lot of drinking mainly, but you know. But we are back once again with the 24/7 news report. And we start with some it's been a mad couple of days. Mad on Twitter, mad. The rumours from highs to lows to transfer links all over the place. But we do start with the headline news coming from Paul Joyce, and that is that James Rodriguez is available for a transfer. This isn't a shock for me. We're hearing more and more reports that the club need to get people off the wage bill due to financial fair play. They've sort of got us in a vice. So obviously James Rodriguez is he's a little bit more of our higher earner, but he's also one of our more attractive players. He won't struggle to find the club. AC Milan were rumoured to be after him earlier on this summer, and I don't think he will struggle to find the club. So obviously he really is one that, you know, you could sort of see us selling, that people would buy as well, because it's not just about trying to sell players, it's about will people buy our players. But yeah, Paul Joyce also broke that Everton are interested in Burnley's Dwight McNeil. And then the Liverpool Echo also said that Everton are interested in signing Dwight McNeil. The 21-year-old is said to be available for 25 million, but Everton will have to combat Aston Villa for McNeil's signature. Later on, Peter Graves TV from Sky Sports announced that Everton are also interested in McNeil, as well as Andros Townsend and Damari Gray. Rafa Benitez wants to improve the club's natural ringer service to DCL. And then finally, just on the Dwight McNeil bit, Telegraph Ducker said on Twitter that Everton feel that Aston Villa are front runners for Dwight McNeil at this stage. The Blues value McNeil at 25 million, but Burnley would want double that valuation. So we'll break down the McNeil stuff, because that's quite a lot to get through, and then we'll get on to the Townsend, Gray and a couple of others. For me, I really do like Dwight McNeil. I think he's a really good player. He's certainly a star in that Burnley side. He scored against us last season as well and played very well throughout. He does naturally play on the left, but you could see Richarlison maybe come over to the right or go up front in a forward. I mean, Rafa Benitez won't play a 4-4-2, but theoretically. But you could stick Richarlison out on the right wing because he is right-footed. And that would make a little bit of sense. It's not where Richarlison would like to play, but you'd adapt. You know, he would adapt to where the manager tells him to play because, well, that's how football works. 25 million I thought was a little cheap, just because he's young and you put on the English tax and that he's Premier League. He's played in the Prem proven. I don't like saying that because I don't think it applies to every player in the world, but he is Prem proven and he's English. So you will get money layered on. So there's about probably, 5 million because he's played in the Prem, another 10 because he's English. And then obviously he's a very important player to Burnley. So Burnley are going to add more on, because if they are going to sell him, they're going to need a lot of money to buy wingers. Because I've got a friend who's a Burnley fan, and he said that, you know, if McNeil goes, I think they've only got 2 wingers. They were linked with Mark Albrighton, which is the most Burnley transfer ever. And I mean that in the most complimentary way. Albrighton would be absolutely unreal. His crossing is fantastic, and when you've got the likes of Wood and Barnes to aim for, he would really suit Sean Dyche's style of player. I think he's a fantastic Burnley signing. We also have news from The Athletic that Leon Bailey and Samuel Chukwueze are on Everton's shortlist for wingers. The wingers have been scouted by Brands and Everton's recruitment team over the past couple of years, and that's come from The Athletic. Leon Bailey's been linked with us quite a lot. Certainly over the last, the last few years, and so with Chukwueze. I think I'm pronouncing that right, fingers crossed. If I'm not, feel free to tell me how to pronounce it and I'll do it in the next video. I'm pretty sure that's right though. Both of these players I really like. They're fast, they're raw talent, they're great dribblers of the ball, and they would just bring so much to that right hand side that we need. We've been begging, screaming for a bit of pace down that right hand side, and these are some really good younger players who show a bit of ambition. Obviously I think the only negative with this is they are going to have to get people off the books to get these players on due to financial fair play. And that might be a struggle because, like I said earlier, James Rodriguez, I think most clubs would want him. There's a couple on the to sell list I don't think clubs will want. I think the club are going to struggle to get rid of the likes of Fabian Delph. I mean, God knows what the transfer fee, that would be a very slim transfer fee, but I think we'd struggle to get rid of him. And a couple of the others that are rumoured to be going, I think we will slightly struggle with. Bernard, I think will struggle just because of how big his wages are. I think he's the club's highest earner, or if not one of the top 3 highest earners at the club, even though he's a free transfer, because that's how transfers work. What you save in free transfers, what you save in the transfer fee, you end up paying in the wages. I think he's on something like 12 million a year. So it works out about 550 odd K a week when I looked online the other day. Obviously take all of that with a pinch of salt because I got it offline. I don't actually know his wages. But yeah, so obviously Bernard would be one we really need to get off the books before we can sign. And Roma were linked with Bernard, but obviously that was before Mourinho, and I don't know if he's Mourinho's type of player. I can't see him doing the defensive work Mourinho will demand from him. We also have from Alan Myers that Andros Townsend Everton medical is currently taking place while Damari Gray is edging closer. For me, I mean, Andros Townsend, Damari Gray, I was quite against it, but on reflection, I'm warming to it because they're going to be bench options clearly. After the news that we were after Bailey, Chukwueze and Dwight McNeil broke, I came round to it a lot better because obviously these are going to be bench options and Townsend has more goal contributions, assists and just all round better than Bernard and Iwobi, so he's better than what we've got already. And we're only offering him, I think it's a 1 year contract with the offer to extend. Same with Damari Gray, we're going to offer a 2 year with an option to extend, I think it is. So the club are being very careful. They're not giving them long-term big contracts. Short option to extend. I think it's clever. It reminds me a lot of giving Josh King the 6-month deal. Very astute business, which is what Everton need. And I think the club are now looking at previous years, the financial fair play situation, and going, listen, this is how we got into this mess. Let's learn from it. And I'm all for that. I'm a massive fan of all of that. It's just worth pointing out, we do run polls on our Twitter all the time, at the Toffee Blues or at the Everton newsfeed. The link will be in the description down below as always. And we did ask on the Twitter, would you like Dwight McNeil at Everton? So far, 268 of you have voted. 85% yes, 15% no. The poll is still open for 16 hours and 16 minutes as of recording. So go check it out. Go have your voice heard, go vote in it. Would you have McNeil? I know you'll let me know in the comments down below as well, but the polls get read out by me regularly. We love a poll, so go do that. It'd be fantastic to hear your guys' opinions. We have more transfer news now though, and Everton have been linked with Benfica striker Haris Serovic, but the interest has reportedly been renewed. So obviously I mentioned this during the Euros, after he'd had quite a good Euros, that we were interested in him. It now looks like that's being renewed, it's being pursued a bit more. As new boss Rafa Benitez has him as one of the approved signings that he wants, according to Portuguese publication Correio da Manhã. The report claims the Blues are the most recent side to join the race for the striker, as both West Ham and Wolves are said to be long-term suitors. I mean, he's a very good player. I always feel like West Ham must have the same scouting system, or the media make up the same rumours, because West Ham are after everybody we're after. I've got a friend who's a West Ham fan, and it always seems like we're after the same players. I know I think people like to say we're very similar clubs, but clearly a scouting team are exactly the same, if the media would have you believe it. But he's a good player, and he'd offer a bit of rotation up front. We do need a backup striker, especially if Moise Kean goes. We'd also have more news that Coutinho interest remains. Mundo Deportivo journalist Francisco Aguilar claims Everton alongside Liverpool and Wolves remain interested in signing Philippe Coutinho this summer. Obviously Coutinho left Liverpool to go to Barcelona back in 2018, but has recently struggled. He would, if James Rodriguez goes, he would fill that position, and is a very good player. I know obviously he's got Liverpool links, but at this point I think, while Rafa Benitez is the manager, we can sort of curb all that. and just, he's a good player. He'll fit that number 10 role very well, and he's very much like James Rodriguez. He's a luxury player. So, I mean, maybe he goes back to Liverpool though, just because of the link with the club. I don't know. I can't see him going to Wolves. I just can't. We'll have to wait and see where that one transpires in that one. We also have the news that Everton target has no intention of leaving, and this is Clement Lenglet. According to Spanish outlet Sport, he is told Rafa Benitez wants him as Yerry Mina's replacement. Yerry Mina looks set to leave the club, but Lenglet has no intention of leaving the Nou Camp this summer and has stated that he will stay at the club. This has come from journalist Samuel Marsden. I don't think this is... Obviously, if we get rid of Yerry Mina, we might need a centre-back. I don't think Lenglet is the biggest. I'm not devastated we're missing out on him. I think there could be better options. We've got Ben Godfrey. I'd rather us just, buy a cheaper, maybe Sven Botman from Lille, just a note, because he's quite good. Or we just buy someone who's a little bit better just as a backup, a rotation, and we just put our money on Godfrey developing the way that we all think he will. I'd be much more happier with that than going out and getting Lenglet on big wages who, is here or there. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd keep Yerry Mina and just say don't buy a centre-back, but, it's not perfect worlds, is it? Otherwise, we'll have won the league 6 times. We also have the news from Record saying that Matheus Nunes, who we were heavily linked with when we had no manager. Rafa Benitez wanted to have a word with the club's new signing. He liked the information he had on the 22-year-old, and he's now willing to receive him. I guess that was the major one for us, was that we were heavily linked with him without a manager. So it was always like this. Benitez has now come in, looked at the reports that Brands will have done in the scouting team, and has now gone, yes, no, that is the type of player I like, bring him in. So we'll have to wait on this one. I think we're the only ones that have been heavily linked with him, so I feel like if we want him, we'll get him. It's certainly nice to see that, we're drumming up more transfer rumours now. I think the Townsend, Amari Gray news, from what I could gather on Twitter, really did hit fans. A lot of people, myself, was like, please tell me this isn't all we're going to sign. But, obviously it's not. We've just got to be careful. We also have news coming from Sport Witness that Andre Gomes is said to be in Everton's release list. There is belief that there could even be a deal with both Gomes and Matheus Nunes this summer. However, this remains to be seen. I would be for this. I like Andre Gomes has been a good servant to the club. He's had good seasons and good spells. A little bit inconsistent for me. And sometimes he's very prone to turning back and passing backwards for me. I don't know if that's a confidence thing. I don't know what. I don't know if that's after his horrific injury. But I would be happy to see him go back to his home country and us bring Nunes in, because it would cut the deal down massively in terms of transfer fee. It might even be a straight swap. And Nunes is younger, maybe a little bit hungrier. And obviously Gomes going back to his home country will be great for him. He can be back with his family. So, I see that as a win-win as long as he wants to go. Obviously, the Premier League is a big draw, and that might be the only thing stopping him. We also have from the Athletic UK that Dalot remains a player of interest. Everton are yet to make a formal bid for Denzel Dumfries, whilst Mino Raiola is handling initial negotiations with interested parties. Any deal would also need sign-off from Benitez. I think he's a good backup, Dalot. I really do hope that, push came to shove, we would either get Dumfries or Max Aarons, who we'll get on to later on. But Dalot would be a good third, I guess. In the order of right-backs, he would be third down the line. He would be a bit like there's not many left, so we'll go with him, if that makes sense. The Athletic also reported that Everton scouts have extensively researched in France and both senior and youth level, but haven't shown much interest in Lille's right-back Siki Selig. There was surprise internally at the strength of speculation around potential move for Max Aarons earlier this summer. That's come from The Athletic. For me, when it says there was surprise internally at the strength of speculation, that makes me think we're probably not going to get him, and that, that's paper talk and the club is surprised by the paper talk. Max Aarons would be fantastic. I think it cost a lot of money though, because English tax, played in the Prem, and coming from a Premier League club. Selig, he looks okay. He's had a really good season for Lille. Not so much for Turkey, but I think it was tough in that Turkey team to perform. Denzel Dumfries, number 1, Max Aarons, and then Selig Dalit, I'm on the either of them third. That would be how I want to do it. You guys might disagree. This is all we've got time for today, though, so don't forget to like the video, subscribe, comment down below on anything I've discussed. Do you like the look of Philip Coutinho? Do you think it's about time we, James Rodriguez going off? Do you think that's good to get rid of him to free up the wages? What wingers do you like? There's a lot of wingers here. Do you think Andros Townsend and Damari Gray are good rotation players? Do you like, which of the 3 wingers would you prefer? McNeil, Bailey, Chukwueze? Let us know down below, because they are 3 very, very highly rated young wingers. Is Coutinho, would you take that? Is his link to Liverpool too much, or would you be happy with that? And let us know who you would be on the release list. Do you think Andre Gomez going the other way is a good deal? Don't forget you can follow me and the Toffee Blues on Twitter. Our links are in the description down below as always. And most importantly, stay safe.